And this is where I started, right, was this piano track here. Actually, it was the same stuff, but with this broken piano. This broken piano is from the Mood Reels pack, and it's quite a nice sounding piano. It's quite kind of broken. I'm loving more and more stuff in the Mood Reels. So there's broken keys in here, nice stuff. And later on, you're also going to see in the kit, there's this scrap metal kit, which again is from Mood Reels. So is that right? Scrap metal kit. Yep. The other one that I've used before. Oh, hello. Is the Insider piano kit. It's really lovely because it's all clicky and.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, love that a lot. So Mood Reels has lots of really nice stuff in it. But we'll come back to that. So I devised this little chord sequence here. And if I play you that. And if I take off all my tricks, I've got no echo, velocity, scale plugin. Oh, hello. Completely different scale. Let's do that to that. And that's through Lab's Glass Piano, Glass Grand, which is a lovely sounding grand piano. Now, I played this sequence chose those chords, and then the next thing was to kind of add these extra passing notes on the top. So I think I played those chords in on push. And because I am epically lazy, I also use exactly the same chords here. Right, so there were three things in session view. I had this, which was plain chords, and then this, which was with the passing notes, and then this without the passing notes, something like that. So basically there were variations of this. These are kind of sustained root notes, and then kind of more, moving top line. So same chords here on a different instrument, here on a different instrument. But if you take those same chords, this is the Spitfire Audio Aperture stack. And if I play from about here, is that even doing anything? Probably not. And that's because I rendered it to audio, I think. Ah, yes, you need both of these. So this has got an arpeggiator on 16ths. The Aperture stack, playing guitars, let me just unfreeze this for a minute, has got some really nice textures, right? But because I'm feeding the arpeggiator, you only get the attack of the first note because it's 16ths, right?
16, right, yeah.
Now, if I just play this on its own, and I take off the arpeggiator, I might have to do this one because this is feeding from this one into this one. So it's almost like nothing.
Yeah. And the arpeggiator just really gets that going. Yeah, that's cool.
And to make this work here, I've got, let me do, if I show you the automation on the autofilter frequency, I wanted to kind of start off the track with this autofilter kind of coming in slowly so that you would just get that high kind of clickiness. So I've also got a utility fading us in and all kinds of other stuff going on.
Yeah, can you just stop to hear it now?
Yeah.
Super clever.
So just a kind of, have that kind of almost percussive effect early, and then have it grow into actual notes. So that's the stack and its effects. Anything on the effects, it's an echo. I'm playing with using mid-side rather than ping pong, so that you've got the kind of faster repeats on the outside compared to the inside. The other place that I'm using exactly the same chords is in Stratus. And it's the same kind of trick here, where if I bring in both of these, so if you know Stratus, then you know this kind of vibe. And it's, again, it's that same thing of just automating the filter, bringing it in. I love this plugin. It's just brilliant noises. Because you can feed it, fairly plain looking inputs, and it just does really nice things with it in the outside. So that was that. When I played this to Zach earlier, hang on, let me just check that there's no one. Is there anyone waiting to kind of come in to the meeting? I played this to Zach earlier, and the solo of this broken piano is just a bit harsh. Oh, why is that not playing? Is that because I've muted everything? I think it is. Yeah. So if I play from here. So I don't know whether that's because the velocity is high, or whether it's just that the samples are a bit harsher than this one.
I love both, to be honest. They sound really good.
Yeah, and so actually what you'll see is that in terms of utility, I've faded in this broken piano, and it's got some nice sort of noise to lo-fi-ness to it as well. But with this one, it's more mellow. So there's that kind of, as this introduction goes on, you fade in this broken piano on top of that more mellow, richer sound here. But then in the last bit, I'm just using the broken piano because it just cuts through better. Another thing that I'm doing a lot more is this MIDI note echo. And what it does is that it, obviously it echoes the MIDI rather than the audio. So you can do things like you can pitch up the feedback so that every time it comes back round again, it pitches up, which is quite nice.
Do we hear that, Mike?
Yeah. So if I do the labs here.
That's the first one in the chain, yeah? The no echo,
Yeah.
the MIDI echo, yeah.
So without.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost adding to the brokenness of the broken.
Well, this is the mellow one, but it's just,
Yeah.
there's something nice about it. Bass here is my trusty favourite. I tried playing this on the Juno, the Roland Boutique series that I've got, but honestly, I love this bass plugin in live. It's a Max for Life patch.
Which one?
The bass.
Oh, it's just called bass.
It's called bass. But you've got a sine wave, square wave, sub. You can pass the sub through, which ignores the filter.
That's cool.
But the nice thing is that the filter always has a drive, and there's always a distortion here.
It's really mellow.
Yeah, but that's because the cutoff starts low.
Yeah, it's good.
And then as the cutoff cuts off all the higher frequencies, and as we go, we're going to increase that and increase the drive and increase the sub and increase the distortion. So by the time we get to here, it's
Lovely.
full beans.
Oh, that's sweet.
Nice.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
And that just allows it all to cut through really nicely. So the kicker is, the thing is, I started with this sound, right? And I was just playing around with this kind of chord sequence and stuff for fun, for no particular reason. And then I started throwing in Rachel's samples, right? And synths and everything. And so let me unmute Vox. And I start with this sample. And I was trying to get this so that each time it comes through, it's slightly louder.
Oh, that's cool.
And also I had an audio effect track you can see here that's got a massive reverb and some Valhalla shimmer. And until this third time through, it's got lots of reverb and it's quieter, and then in this one suddenly no reverb. This is my dry January effect.
Yeah.
Right. So the chains here are, I think there's one chain that's dry, one that's no, it's dry wet on the reverb and on Valhalla shimmer. Okay, so then I laid that over, and I thought, oh heck, my remix is on. And at that point I thought, yep, here we go. So then there's Rachel's own, this is her kind of build. What you call it? Where you fade up. Something.
Riser.
Riser, thank you, that's it. And then I'm going to just take this guy out for a minute. And what I was trying to do here is, in the kind of sense of remixes, where you're not trying to just play all the vocal, all the chorus, all the bits, but rather just pick out bits that worked with what I had in the structure. So then it was just playing kind of, you know, the almost paint by numbers, where you're saying, you know, how does this sound in this spot? How does that sound in that spot?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I did, and I knew I wanted to do, was to take the ABXY, and I'd taken both versions of that, both the one that's kind of, it's the snippet from the vocal stems that's in time with the released song, and then there's just the ABXY sample where it's not, it's like, it's on the beat, if you follow me.
Right.
So this one's slightly syncopated, this one's on the beat. And I'm feeding them through cycles. Good old favourite cycles. Let me just show you this, and then I'll solo these guys. I hope this will work. So there's a random here.
That's cool.
On the position, so it scrolls through the sample. And it just kind of mixes it up a wee bit. But it's that nice choppy kind of rhythmic. And I think that's just a standard preset there. The lower one here, same idea, but a different sample. And also with this one, it still grains, but the size of the grain is much bigger, so you get that kind of smeared effect.
Oh. Is that the effect plugin cycles?
It's a contact sample library, but you can nominate user sources. So you can drop a 4-bar or a 2-bar sample into it, and it'll do all this kind of processing on it.
Ah, okay.
And over here, you've got the ABXY, but you've also got this which again is just that nice. It's kind of hinting at that sample rather than being explicit, which I liked. So that is vocals and that stuff. When it comes to the synths, I basically took her. Either I took the sample or I took a chunk out of the stem. And really just use these as kind of chopped up bits. Split that for a minute. And again, this is just, it's nice actually because it works well against the chopped up ABXY.
I love what you're doing with the strange mod onto the auto pan. That's so good.
I stumbled upon this. So I'm mapping some of the strange mod to the amount of autopan, to the shape, to the phase. And again, strange mod just, it's not like an LFO, it's not predictable. So it's just doing something interesting. And then opening up the auto filter and gain. And then just transitioning from one of those samples to the next, you know? I mean, maybe that could have done with a bit of a bigger build here, but... And it's nice how they kind of come together, right? I mean, obviously, because they're all from the same song. They've all got the same DNA. Except for the kit. And this is the thing that, you know, made Matt go, oh, it's so unlike your other tracks. Because I've got a kit. So my kick here is good old DS kick. Really short decay, really short envelope. And it's just full on. Hang on, if I solo that. I also automate the frequency here. I want it almost like a heartbeat.
You can hear that coming in, yeah.
And it's almost imperceptible.
Yeah, how's it sound in the mix again? I can hear it there. Okay. It actually comes out really clearly, even with it's towards the end of that.
So I'll leave off the hi-hats for the minute. So my idea there was that it would be, as I say, almost like a heartbeat, half speed, and then when it comes back in, it's much more revert. Okay. And then at this point, I'm mixing that DS synth with Rachel's. And that was really just to give it lots of bottom end. So the DS kick here is for just maximum impact, and this is to round it out, basically. The only other part here that I'm a wee bit proud of is in this section. If you listen to the kick on Dinosaur, it has these occasional little kind of ba-bump bits. And so I tried to kind of factor that in here. And it sounds a bit mad just on its own, but if I add in this guy.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
So, my nod to knowing what I'm doing about drum programming. And then, again, DS, drum synth, hi-hat, same kind of deal. Now, this pattern...
Is that Max for Live, Mike, or is that a pack?
No, it's a pack,
Is
I
it?
think, isn't it? It may be Max for Live. Well, there's drum synth here, but then in drums, if you look for DS, well, there's DS drum rack. Yes, there's an instrument called drum synth.
Okay, cool.
This pattern, I think, comes
Yeah,
from
yeah.
my Torso T1. So this is the kind of Euclidean pattern sequencer. And it's nice. But it... One of the things that it does is that it has this nice change in velocity, so you get these kind of natural kind of grooves coming out of it. And then I think the probabilities aren't all high. You know, they're all about 86, so some of them won't sound at various points. So that's back to my kind of nod to probability and all the rest of it. But it just keeps the interest in the pattern, you know.
Right, how did you create the pattern to start with?
It's with a Torso T1 sequencer.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, that's what you said.
And then
Cool.
again, I mix that with Rachel's hi-hat loop. And again, that says chill hat, so maybe actually that's XO. Could be XO actually. So yeah, I think it is. So I had DS again for the clickiness, and Rachel's for the kind of more kind of standard played feel. It was the scrap metal kit where I got the torso happening. So I like that just because it's got that nice kind of percussion, but not standard percussion. So that's that. And then what else to show you? Yeah, all of that stuff, all of those percussion parts are here within this kit. Drum bus the living heck out of it. Or no, what's the expression that Ned Rush uses? Drum bus it like an idiot. The only thing that isn't drum bus like an idiot is the tom fill, because I wanted that to really pop and I didn't want it to use the rest of the drum bus settings for the rest of the kit. So I kind of took that out onto its own little channel so that I could do something separate for that. And that is all she wrote, really. And what else? Valhalla, delay on nothing. Sure it's in there somewhere. Oh, on some pads. And yeah, that's about it really. So I'm not going mad with the massive reverbs or delays in this track, strangely.
I took that one up this time.
Yeah. And then it's kind of just trying to master it to some degree. And as I think we discussed on a Sunday night, I was never quite sure about the levels, because that starts really quiet.
I don't know, I like the build, I like the
Yeah.
progression.
Initially, I had the piano part coming in immediately, but Zach listened and was like, it's too harsh. And so we softened the sound, and we kind of led with the Stratus sound instead. I was really, I mean, when I got to it, I was thinking, first half is the kind of gentle, false sense of security, and the second half is the big banger. And fade out exactly on 4 minutes.
That was cool.
Good call.
Yeah,
Yeah, super
thank you.
cool.
So it's a little bit of my lazy producer thing of reusing chord sequences and chord patterns and swapping instruments, and I I find that works well because then you've got the same DNA across several tracks. It's just that you're doing different things with it to get a different sound.
Yeah, I think the automation really helps to keep it moving, right?
For sure.
That is not as lazy. Right?
Yeah, but that's what I would term gardening later.
Yeah. I already mentioned that today, didn't I, Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mike's taught me all I know.